Coronavirus outpacing vaccine efforts, says WHO. The vow by G7 countries to share 1 billion doses with poorer nations was simply not enough, says WHO. Delta variant of COVID has spreaded rapidly and detected in 74 countries. Focusing on availability and making charitable donations are not enough, said Aruna Kashyap, a senior counsel for business and human rights. The G7's failure to unequivocally support a temporary waiver of global intellectual property rules is deadly status quo. To fully fund efforts to speed up production and access to COVID-19 diagnostics, treatments and vaccines, more than $16 billion is still needed this year. The WHO's Emergencies Director Michael Ryan said that figure represents less than 1% of annual global defense expenditure. A COVID-19 vaccine made by Sinovac Biotech for emergency use listing approved by WHO. Sinovac vaccine to be included in COVAX, the global program of providing vaccines mainly for poor countries. It is the 8th vaccine to win combat COVID-19 and the second developed by a Chinese company. It prevented symptomatic disease in 51% of those vaccinated and prevented severe COVID-19 and hospitalization in 100% of the studied population. High risk of autumn COVID surge in Europe, says WHO. There was a devastating loss of lives in the autumn and winter of 2020. Let's not make that mistake again, warning WHO. Europe had so far recorded 55 million infections and 1.2 million deaths, but cases, hospital admissions and deaths had now fallen for 2 consecutive months, with 368,000 new cases reported last week, barely 20% of the April weekly figure. The top priority of governments must be to protect elderly people, people with comorbidities and frontline workers. That the risk of severe disease or death in children was up to 800 times lower than in the over 70s. Let us stay safe.